All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we are here with the Area 51 Superspeedway Xfinity League. I say this will be season opener for this series. Last night, I should say, of the season openers. Of course, kicking things off on Monday with the Next Gen series. So I'll say we'll kick off next week with race number 2. We've had a lot of exciting racing in these first few weeks, or first few nights, of racing. So I'll say, however, we're back tonight at Talladega where we were finished off the season. You see that car right there, Peter Borgia grabbing that championship. So we'll see if he can defend that championship here and get things started off with that tonight. However, as always, 75 laps is our scheduled race distance, but of course there is the potential of 3 attempts of a green-white checkered attempt. And of course also that fast repair, the one and only fast repair, so drivers have to be very cautious and keep a very close eye on that. So we'll see if that comes into play this evening or not. So right now while the drivers are making laps, so I had a little request right here just pop in on the thing, and that was to show our practice results that were just finished up here a little bit. And you see right there, top of the board during practice, Brandon Briggs there by about half a tenth over Peter Borgia, BK Anderson, Jimmy Crow, Jay Hilliard. So those are our qualifiers there, our practice times there earlier here this evening. So yeah, I saw you peek in there on the chat there, Brendan, and yeah, so great job in practice. So now you got to put it together and try to do that once more in the race as well here. So good luck to you, sir. And I say we're going to keep things going here while the drivers making their laps, because again, qualifying going to be all important. And I think something we can do here, Matt, is we got to talk to our defending champion in that number 41 of Peter Borgia.
Yeah, I think he's done taking laps right now.
Yeah, so I nicer tonight. I gave him a warning, say, hey, I'm gonna probably bug you, just a FYI. So we're gonna pull in that our defending champion in that number 41 of Peter Borgia. Say obviously a little number change over the off season tonight, but say obviously coming into tonight trying to defend last season's title, Peter. Say what's it gonna take, or I mean, what's your mindset? Do you change anything, or do you kind of just go with what worked for you last season? What's the thought process tonight?
I mean, the championship's the ultimate goal, but like this is an awesome league to run in regardless. It's the early in the season. We're just trying to feel each other out. A lot of new faces in the league tonight. Go out there and try and build trustworthy relationships to those guys, so that end of the race, if they got to choose between me and somebody else to push for a win, that they decide to shove the 41 instead. I hope, but no, I mean this is a great time. Super speedway racing is always kind of a crapshoot, and every single driver feels they've got a good chance to win. So brand new, fresh start. Everyone's tied in points right now. It's a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, so I think the one big change, obviously, the off season is the new fuel numbers here. Let's say hearing it's right on the edge of a 2 to 3 stoppers, whether or not you want to go full send and maybe have to look at doing that the 3 stopper, or trying to save a little bit of fuel, pull a 2-stop strategy. I know we talked a little bit pre-race, but is that something you're just going to kind of go at the kind of on the fly and see how things shake out, or are you guys going to probably have a game plan going into before things kick off here?
I think we'll try to cover our bases with how we handle the start of the race, so that if the race does unfold a certain way, that we're going to be okay. But realistically, there's going to be cautions mixed in here. We haven't had, at least not in the B car, too many perfectly clean races in these things. They're just a little bit harder to handle, especially when the temperatures are a little higher, and there's only so many regular season races to rack up as many points as you can. So people are going to get aggressive eventually, and sometimes that fuel number just gets thrown out the window. But we'll try and take care of ourselves at the beginning, but I don't think we're going to try and sacrifice any kind of track position or do anything crazy with our race there, just under the hopes that it stays green. But we'll see. If we have a couple races like that where that seems to really be the norm, and people start behaving that way, and everyone's trying to avoid being the leader, then that's going to change the strategy and dynamic of how we do a lot of stuff.
I do have one question before we let you go here about the grid up here.
Yeah.
You not having Sebastian Marin here as you're pretty much your teammate for last year. How does this reflect on from last year to this year?
I missed a whole lot of races at the beginning last year, so I certainly, if anyone is going to be like, it doesn't really make too much of a difference, he's going to be there at the end if he makes enough races and scores a lot of points. I'm already an example of how that can be done. So, he's got other bigger stuff he's worried about tonight, or just needs to catch up on some sleep, or needs a break from iRacing, he'll be back next week and fighting for a win. And before we know it, 3 or 4 weeks will go by, and he's right there near the top of the table again. So I'm not worried about it too much, but I'm sure he isn't either.
All right there, my friend. Best of luck to you. You're starting third here. I know Gael's itching to go over these qualifying results.
Got to go over the qualifying results. Yeah, great job tonight in the qualifying there, Peter. Good luck the rest of the way, sir.
Thanks so much, everybody.
All right, yeah, you're exactly right, man. We got to pull up those starting grid before these guys get rolling here pretty quick. And it's actually going to be Jimmy Crow Jr. A great lap for him. Puts it on pole in that number 39. Right next to him, though, 0.02 of a second. Everett Lane going to start in number 2 spot. And then we mentioned Peter Borgia. Just talked to him starting in 3rd. J.D. Crow 4th. You have Vicente Guerrero, Cody Nagels, Dean Wilkinson, Eric Lurie, Zach Workman, and Robert DuPont are top 10. Then 11th and 12th, you've got Quabi Brooks, Michael Spell. And you see here's the rest of our starting order here. Jim Brooks, Todd Merkel, Bud Steele, Charles Johnson, Paul Sheldon, Keith Horner, Mark Mastraya, Derek Walker. Number 20 starting in 20th there. Kind of a fitting qualifying order there for him. And BK Anderson, Joseph Morales, Robert Rock, and Jay Hilliard. And then some of these drivers you see already from here on back did not put down a qualifying time. Andy Brigante, Brian Grimm, Bob Fitzgerald, Dan Harrington, Richard Sanchez, Randy Miner, Todd Siebels, Dave Bingle, Robert Jordan, Michael Taylor, and Brandon Briggs. And start in 35th here tonight. All right, so the field just rolling off onto the track here. I say Peter's maybe trying to use some of his championship prowess. He's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to roll here the apron. I'm going to sneak around you guys a little bit. Steal a little bit extra fuel and just maybe get a little extra TV time out of these boys. But yeah, so it's a great opening qualifying stint, though, for Jimmy Crow Jr. He's going to start this thing on pole. So, and like I said, Matt, we're going to have to keep an eye on those teammates to see kind of what alliances we see here tonight. Again, like you said, too, some new names, some new faces as well. But let's say the big one that we saw from last week that we're coming into this week is the stacked team TW Motorsports. They have a lot of drivers here tonight, so we'll see what they have in store. But I think the big question mark tonight, for me at least, is going to be the fuel mileage. It sounds like if you are very, very aggressive, probably around 24 roughly laps on fuel just outside the 2-stop window, which has been pretty much with these cars is a guarantee to make it on 2 stops. So definitely changes the strategies for some possibly, but like you saw or you heard Peter mention there, so I think he's just going to try to kind of plan his race, try to stay up front and control it and not ride too much, and just kind of see if and when those cautions fall to maybe then open up that pit strategy.
Speaking of the TW guys, I would watch him in practice. It was like a swarm of white cars sitting in one pack. So I'm sure we'll see that today. I'm pretty excited about this season. Got some new names, new faces. I'm pretty interested to see what the JD Crow, who got the win last week in our little fun race, can do this season.
Yeah, exactly right. Say JD starting 4th here, so another good qualifying attempt for him as well. So that being said, though, we're going to kick things off here again. Initial start always on the green, as it's going to be Jimmy Crow Jr., Everett Lane on the front row here, and then Peter Borgia, JD Crow, row number 2, just waiting for that flag to fly. As we are down and away, 75 laps again, scheduled distance, but of course we mentioned 3 attempts if needed of the green light checkered as we get underway here.
Yeah, I noticed there was a huge gap down in the bottom of the track there.
Yeah, I see that looks like may have been by design there, because you saw immediately JD Crow snuck to the inside, picked up the 39, and then Peter Borgia is going to roll in right behind him here. But then you see the 24 getting a big push. I say that's no surprise. Cody Nagel is going to be ready early and often to make those big pushes here. So let's say they're going to head back into turn number 3 here. You see Charles Johnson already starting to peek at that 3rd lane here. Not sure if that's Charles trying to get to the front, maybe trying to roll a little bit back here early on. So we'll have to keep an eye on that 9 here, Matt, and see what the strategy is for him. But right now it looks like holding pretty solid on his own there on the outside. So I think maybe trying to drop to the back, but looks like lap number 1 here is going to go to that 39 of Jimmy Crow Jr.
Yeah, I think he's dropping to the back to all his teammates back there.
Yeah, it's exactly what it does look like, just dropping back. So got a good qualifying spot, now drop back and kind of try to find a good safe place to settle in there. I see Dan Harrington, the 82, just sneaking by him. I'd say I'd keep an eye out for Dan Harrington here too. I think he's going to try to find his teammate there in that number 20 of Derek Walker Although, as I say that, Derek's got other things in mind here. And who's the first to go three-wide to make some track position here, Matt?
Mr. Three Wide himself, Keith Horner.
Yeah, wasting no time. He's going to pick that third lane here and no hesitation there from that 20 as well. Derek Walker, you all see just in the background, BK Anderson doing the same. So right now, 3 cars trying to look at that third lane here and see what they can do. But I'll say right now, pretty even up front. Although I'm going to say right here at the line, Everett Lane going to lead lap number 2 there as we start into 3. And here they come. As soon as one does it, the others are going to start peeking up there. And it looks like it was not Dean Wilkinson. Who was that? Paul Sheldon up top in the 52. He's going to try to lead that third group now.
Looked like Derek Walker just kissed the wall up there, trying to keep up with Keith Horner there. And that top lane is not. Yeah, just a little scrape. He's fine. Yeah, that top lane is not really working out right now. It's way too early.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it has what the guys are looking for yet. And also, I don't think that it has the aggression yet that they need to make it really work. But what it has allowed to happen, though, is you see right here, we just talked about a lap ago or so, Derek Walker, Dan Harrington, they have found each other. So they're going to hook up here, and we'll see. Maybe Derek's going to take momentum to the top side. Indeed, he does. But surprisingly, right now, Dan Harrington, okay, there he goes. I say a little hesitation. I wasn't sure if he was going to go with him. There he goes. He's going to jump up top as well. I would say we'll see if that momentum starts to shift to that third lane or not.
I thought maybe BK Anderson would slide up to him. I don't know. Yep, there he goes. That's what I figured.
Yeah, BK always wanted to have some fun up there as well, so he's going to jump up top there in that Cheerios 32. Saying we'll see how it goes. I say BK has been making some pretty good gains here from this initial start, Matt. He's showing about bounces kind of between 7 to 9 spots gain, depending on how that momentum shifts right here. But you see up front, though, JD Crow, he's found his way to the inside lane now, leading this pack. So say it looks like JD going to try to lead a lap as well in that 5 if he has yet to already. But at the line, still going to be the 24 of Everett Lane leading that lap.
Yeah, way too early. Those guys are trying to make that third lane work. It's just not happening.
Yeah, I don't think there's a big rush to need to get up there yet. But, I mean, it's just so tempting. And like I said, there's a lot of drivers that just have mixed strategies of wanting to be aggressive, wanting to save. You just never know what's going to be the winning choice here tonight. I mean, we've seen a lot of times, as you see right there, 24 Everett Lane, he clears the inside line, he drops to the inside. I'll say this is Cody Nagel's opportunity, but right here you see the 5 looks like he's going to possibly clear as he drifts up. He does. That's going to bring JD Crow to try to take the lead here once again through the tri oval.
I'm just watching here in the back here. See my usual suspects back here.
Yeah, looks like everybody's still in the draft right now. Right now, the 74 Robert Jordan, he's kind of just holding back. We talk about new names, new faces. He's brand new to the league, so Robert's doing a good job just trying to, stay out of trouble and kind of keep his nose clean early on. And again, kind of just get a good feel for everybody. You know, you haven't raced with these guys before, so you got to kind of get that ebb and flow. I got a chance to talk to him a little bit pre-race, and he definitely does seem to have a lot of experience with a lot of these guys. So it's definitely a good way to start things off with a handful of drivers here. Then it's just to kind of get that familiarity with the remaining probably 20 or so drivers tonight. And it's kind of like what Peter said in his interview as well. He said kind of getting familiar with the new names, new faces, and try to get them happy and comfortable with you as well. And see that 07 Eric Laurie, I think he's jumping to the top. I don't think this is for a position here. I think Eric's trying to maybe roll back, maybe got that car a little hot even. I think that may have been what's forcing him up to that top side as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on Eric as the run goes on. But a little bit further up, I'm pretty sure I saw a car with a little bit of a bumper kind of shoved in a little bit in the back. Yeah, the 80 to Michael Spell here, Matt. Michael right now up into 7th roughly, but that car looks like it's had a pretty solid push from behind some point in this race. It's got a decent little dent in the back of it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good dent size of the rear there. I don't see any damage to any of the cars in their front.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd situation. We'll have to keep an eye on that, but what we're seeing up front though right now is it's pretty much just been Everett Lane and JD Crow just kind of leapfrogging each other. So we talk about that approach in IndyCar, but you say usually with these Xfinity trucks they just like to shove each other. But they just been able to get that momentum. They jump to in front of Cody Nagels. Cody just shoves them right on by. They drop back to the bottom. then the second car on the inside line is able to kind of rinse and repeat. So pretty wild to see kind of how these guys have been going after it here pretty early. As there he goes again, the 24, he clears, he jumps to the inside, but now that third lane, Matt, it's starting to pick up some pretty solid steam here.
Almost trying to see who was leading that pack there. I can't quite see who's leading that third lane.
It's one of the TW
That's
drivers, I believe
Yep.
it's Dean Wilkinson. Yeah, he's got Eric Laurie and BK Anderson behind him. I say this has been the first real charge that they've had an opportunity to do, and you can see it's
we got contact.
Yeah, we're gonna have the big one here early on. Unfortunately, we'll see how many are involved. As you saw, a little bit of contact for Keith Horner. Then on the inside line, you say there's the other cars trying to get through. Eric Laurie, unfortunately, is indeed involved as well. I say trying to catch who all was caught up in that one, but it looks like Eric definitely getting a pretty big piece of the front clip is pretty much gone. I think Joseph Morales possibly involved as well. So we'll go back and take a look. We saw it as it happened on board from that 37 car, but unfortunately, I say it's going to bring out our first yellow here.
That is quite weird. Might want to hop into 66 there, Gael.
We'll take a look here. We're going to watch from Mark Mastrez. I actually already see it's already kind of kicking off when we get there. So let's go back a little further here, and we'll watch Mark once again here. We'll slow things down, get a better look. Say Mark was in the middle of 3. You see Todd Merkel just in front of him in the 2 car. And we'll see if we can spot anything out of the ordinary here as they head into turn number 1. And yeah, you're right. Almost like the 66 just almost like a wheel disconnects or something. And then at that point, he just kind of everybody else here is along for the ride. You see, the 101 Randy Miner just up and over. Derek Walker gets a piece as well there. I think I saw a little bit maybe right front damage for Quabi Brooks as well. And we'll go back a little more. I was trying to find the 32. There's BK. I think BK may have got a small piece as well. So unfortunately, a couple TW drivers, Eric Laurie as well involved. And it looks like behind them, though, everybody does a pretty solid job here. You can see everybody's really spreading out and just trying to avoid one another. So definitely, I'm going to say hats off to those guys for being able to kind of get woed down and get through there. So yeah, that's going to put us under yellow here, Matt. And again, strategy-wise, I don't think we'll see too much out of the ordinary here. I think everybody's going to come in, get fuel, because now at this point there's zero question. It's going to be a 2-stopper to the end. So I don't think we'll see anybody stay out here. But unfortunately, it looks like that 66 has indeed retired for that of Mark Mastrez. So that's going to leave us 34 left on track. But unfortunately, a couple of guys, it looks like, had to maybe try to pit under before the pits were open, like Paul Sheldon. That car looks like he's starting to catch back up to the field here. But it's going to be these guys all hitting pit road. It looks like the 53. He's just going to go around here, get a lap lead, and then we'll see the 53 hit pit road as well. So, yeah, it looks like fuel only for our top 2.
That's pretty smart strategy, Deb. By Quabi there.
Yeah, saying that's the way to do it. At Talladega, it works. At Daytona, it will not because of the location of the start-finish line. He can lead the lap, and with him driving through the pits, it also will allow him to still pit that second time around. Although now looks like these guys starting to drive by him. Maybe had a speeding penalty, you're not sure, so he might have to actually fall to the back regardless. So now the next question, of course, is damage repair, Matt. And right now, Joseph Morales, he had about 22 seconds on pit road. Robert Rock was at about 28. Unfortunately, BK Anderson, he's at looks like about 50 seconds and counting here in that 43 Cheerios car. So yeah, it's going to be a question of kind of who maybe did or did not take that fast repair there, as everybody's starting to get reorganized here as they head down the back.
I'm quite curious. I don't see any speeding penalties on Quabi there. Maybe he's got a little bit of... He does have a little damage, but I'm not sure if his car is really drivable or not.
He did have some right front damage. We were able to kind of catch that earlier. So yeah, not sure on the 53 why he's dropping back. I mean, he was able to get that lap lead, but so I suspect we'll most likely see him hit pit road this time around there, as he's still kind of rolling the apron, letting everybody on by. So we'll keep an eye on that and see kind of how it all pans out there. So yeah, the question mark is going to be kind of fast repairs, who's had to use them, who hasn't used them. So yeah, early caution here though tonight. And good evening, Jack. Glad to see you here watching. Definitely miss seeing you on track, but hope you are enjoying Virginia, sir.
Oh.
So So we'll see here. I don't suspect we'll see a lot of drivers top off here. Interestingly enough here, we'll double test and see, but right now it's showing Paul Sheldon up front, but I believe he had entered a closed pit. So I want to say Paul may have came in, because I'm showing him pitting at lap 9 versus lap 10 for most of the others. So, and yeah, here comes a handful more. You're going to go ahead and top off on this one to go, starting with Derek Walker. And it looks like bringing pretty much about from 15th on back onto pit road here. Pretty much the only that stayed out right now. Looks like Dan Harrington, he's going to promote himself a little bit up, as well as Bob Fitzgerald and Robert Jordan. And then, yeah, here comes BK Anderson. He's going to roll back through as well. I think it's a good call for BK. Get all the damage fixed, and then stay out here, gain a bunch of track position now to restart inside the top 20. Give yourself a lot of drafting opportunities here.
Yeah, I've seen most drivers come back in and get their damage repaired. I see that's what Squabby doing right now.
Yeah.
It looks like, did he? Okay, he's electing not to take the fast repair. Okay.
This will be a risky one for him because he doesn't know how much damage he has. So the only thing is he can only go for probably another, I'd say, maybe, 10, 15 seconds before he's going to have to drop and go and catch the leaders again. Because if he restarts by himself, I'd say at that point his race is going to be pretty much over until he gets another caution potentially. So, yeah, it's kind of a risky call as he's rolling out now. Looks like he got about 38 seconds of repairs done. But up front, though, looks like it is now, yep. Okay, I was a little confused about some of the drivers that were towards the front, like Paul Sheldon. He's rolling back now to get lined up correctly. So, indeed, it is going to be Everett Lane. Cody Nagel is going to lead this restart. And then row 2 is going to be Robert DuPont and J.D. Crow.
It looks like Quabi might barely make the start here because pace car is in turn 3 right now.
Yeah, he should be all right, especially with the late start finish line. I think he'll easily get there because he's pretty much getting to them now. As he comes through 3, he's entering 3 now as they're in the middle of 3 and 4. So yeah, so 53 should be okay. Question mark will be, of course, whether or not damage is going to be a factor for him holding the draft. So because you can see from about, it looks like just around one of the TW drivers here. Around Richard Sanchez on back, these guys all restarting single file, so that's going to be the next thing. They got to make sure they get through the gears cleanly and don't lose that draft. So up front, though, going to be Cody Nagel's Everett Lane. And right now, looks like these guys going to wait to go till the green as we're going to restart this thing on lap number 13 of 75.
Yeah, it's way too early to go way early on the green. Well, he could break apart the field.
Yes, I think at a later point in the race, I think there is definitely some benefit from that. But yeah, I think you're right. I think at this point, probably too early to do that. So we'll keep an eye on the field and see if they're all able to stay intact with one another. But we are back to green as that 06, 07 lining up on the inside. Got the 5 and the 24 on that outside line. And so we'll see who wins this drag race into 3.
Looks like it's going to be our buddy Cody Nagels.
Yeah, so far Cody Nagel's holding on to that top spot. We'll see if he can hold it through the start-finish line or not. Because again, that first portion of the race, I mean, Cody was pretty much Mr. Pusher. So now he's finally getting kind of the return favor from that 07 of Robert DuPont. He's being able to finally get pushed. And it looks like he will indeed lead that lap on this restart here. So we know for sure that 06 has a bonus point now in his pocket as well. But again, still lots of racing. Go see that 14 there, the Oreos car of Vicente Guerrero. He was one of our playoff contenders last season. He's going to want to try to get to the playoffs again and have a little bit better run, as he just had zero luck on that previous one. But I am looking, Matt, that field's starting to get a little stretched out for my liking here. Derek Walker trying to hustle back up to catch the back of this group here, because I think that 32 of B. Anderson might just be a little more wounded than he was hoping for. And then even further back here, Paul Sheldon has a couple of teammates with him to hopefully catch them up, but they're all starting to drop back. But the group here that I think might be in trouble is being led by that 16 of Michael Taylor. They've got 4 cars, but right now they're over a second and a half behind those drivers in front.
Ooh, I see a couple of cars that kind of worries me a little bit back there. I think most I see a couple of white cars back there. See if I can pick out who it is.
The 510.
Yep.
Yeah, they're working it. I say they're trying to get up there. As you can see, I think these guys, unfortunately, that 32 just too much damage for BK here. He's gonna probably have to take that next yellow, unless he still has more damage repairs to go. I think he's gonna have to burn that fast because that car just doesn't have the pace to hold onto the draft. So I feel like these guys, I think they're gonna be okay. And you saw right there, BK is trying to be very aggressive to stay in the draft of these guys. Then now right behind him, he's going to have Paul Sheldon, Dave Dingle, and Randy Miner, and say the same thing. They're gonna have to probably be a little aggressive as well. They're gonna want to try to get around him here. As you see the 52, he's going to kind of get trapped behind, which is going to allow the 20 and the 101 to drop low. But yeah, that group from Michael Taylor on back at this point, they have lost the draft at this point. They're just going to have to work together, just kind of minimize the damage loss here. So right now the goal for those other guys, as Michael Spell just clears that 5 car. That was tight. I think the 5 may have cut him a little bit of slack there even. But Michael's going to jump to the front here. As you can see, that third lane starting to form once again. As now it's also Vicente Guerrero leading that middle lane with some help from the 18 there behind him of Zach Workman right now. So it's going to be tight here at the line. I think Vicente had it there at the line. So lap led for that 14 Oreo machine. As we head back into turn number 1, I'm seeing right now is saying I think Peter DeBorgia isn't liking what he's seeing because he's rolled to that third lane and he's definitely making a choice here to drop to the back and just let these guys maybe let them fight it out more than he's ready for at this point.
I had an issue with the 101.
Oh yeah, we got 3 cars on pit road here. BK Anderson, this might be the fast pair. For him, yeah, he's had to take it. He's rolling out, and yeah, you're right. The 52 and the 101, they're both on pit road. Not sure if we missed anything on that one. I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary. Actually, yeah, because I see Paul Sheldon actually having to take a tow to the pits. So yeah, I think something did happen to Paul Sheldon there. So, but he took a tow, so he's able to keep it keep things under the green flag conditions. That's right there, close call between the 14 and the 18. The 18 looked like he maybe was trying to follow through that 14 down into the low side on turn 1. So right now, say we go 3x3 here with looks like 3, I believe, TW on the outside. Or no, actually Jimmy Crow Jr. He's in the TW sandwich, I should say, up there. But yeah, right now these guys are getting very dicey here, pretty aggressive early on. I think that's exactly why we saw Peter DeBorgia roll out of this one.
Yeah, I kind of don't blame him as a point standard. Got a long season.
Yeah, exactly right. I say there's a lot of racing left to go in this one. Like I said, a long season. Well, so after tonight, there's still, of course, 7 races before the 4-race playoff. And there's a lot of movement right now with these top drivers here. As you see the 18 now, he's going to jump to the point. That's going to open the door now for Dan Harrington to lead that second line there with help from Jay Hilliard. And then you saw JD Crow, he's jumped up there as well. But yeah, these guys are, again, starting to kind of just slice and dice left and right just a little more than my comfort zone is. And hopefully it all stays under control, but there's been a couple close calls here early on.
Yeah, got my eye on a certain driver up here. Try to get car numbers. I'm not really good with car numbers here. Where are you? Jay Hilliard taking the lead.
Yep, the 59 Jay Hilliard. He's going to try to get the lead here at the line with help from JD Crow. I believe he did have the lead at the line there, so bonus point for that 59 as well. As right now, say they've kind of settled in to some extent at 2x2. Let's say right now there's a second pack here a little further back. They're just playing it safe here, start being led off by Richard Sanchez, and you see in the back of that group our defending champion, the 41 of Peter DeBorgia. So we talked to him. He said he's going to kind of just play things as they come and kind of decide from there. And yeah, these guys are definitely they're pretty dicey there. So he's rolled out of it. He's still safely in the draft, but just right now, just trying to find a nice little pocket to feel safe and even able to save a little bit of fuel should he choose to. As the field just right now is coming around that number 32 of BK Anderson, who's had to use that fast pair. So right now he's off sequence. And just drops to 1 lap down here. However, is currently the only car 1 down.
Yeah, and no worries for PK. Catch caution, just sit there and chill, and mission accomplished.
Yeah, he just needs to ride here in the draft, just keep himself in a safe little pocket, basically. He's got nobody to race. That's big bobble there by the 59, the 50, the 5 as well. Say, and unfortunately, in the making the nice move to let the 59 recover that car, that's really cost the 5 a lot of track position. You see he's starting to, well, actually both lines I should say are starting to drop back a little bit, and that's really allowed that inside line to push hard here. As you see Vicente Guerrero, he's going to jump to the middle lane, as on the outside line, the 06 of Cody Nagels, he's going to try to pick up some speed here as well. But man, these guys are trying to push pretty hard again here, Matt, and they are starting to get wobbly.
Yeah, we're only on lap 21, but nothing will stop these guys. Whoa, almost contact between the 59 and the 06. That was really, really close.
Yeah, say whatever hesitations they had earlier, that looks like those concerns are gone, because they are pushing and shoving. And here's a big push from that 59. It's going to shove the 14 of Vicente Guerrero to the lead, entering 3. Not enough to clear yet, but always going to think about it. Nope, he's going to stay middle, but that was tight there. You could see the flames out of the 59 there, had to roll out of the throttle to make sure he didn't run over that 14. And that's the concern. If you're going to try to make those passes, you got to make sure you're clear before you can commit. So say it was on the edge there, but luckily we're still staying green here, as he was able to keep that middle lane going.
That was a good heads up by both drivers not to make a mistake and cause a big wreck. I expect really good things out of Vicente Guerrero this year. I think he's going to nail it this year.
I feel like, yeah, he has definitely improved week after week, and I think last season just getting to the playoffs, but again, not having the playoffs he wanted. But I think he'll be able to learn from that and kind of adjust and improve from that. And I mean, he's shown that he's going to be one to watch over the course of last season. So I don't think we'll see much different from that this season. No. I believe, trying to see if he's got some help. Yeah, he's actually working with BK Anderson and Cody Nagels in Discord. So we'll see if we can see. Right now, let's say they're actually side by side there in the middle and the outside lanes. So if those two can get hooked up, definitely expect some good things out of them. But I say right now we continue to run 3x3 here, 4 rows deep.
I've been in their chat room before, and they're pretty competitive side by side, but in the end they're still teammates.
And that's honestly, I think that's the ideal teammate to have, is to have somebody that kind of pushes you to be better and to improve, but still at the same time able to work well together. As soon as they say that, there goes Cody, is able to clear that 14. Now those teammates do get lined up here front to tail. That's going to allow the 5 and the 6 and the 20 now to lead that third lane. But we'll see how strong those two can here latch up together, because like you said, people are good working together, but when you get teammates working together, it's a whole nother deal. And you can see right there, Cody's going to get the push. He is going to clear to get the lead, and there's the big move. And that's something I've learned. I've talked to some drivers, and they've talked about when they clear now, they don't just kind of nicely drift slowly down into lane. They make a big abrupt cut to the left there. That way it kind of helps prevent that second car from kind of getting lulled into into following them. So I really like what I'm seeing out of those guys. They've learned little tricks of the trade, if you will, to try to help keep the race even stay cleaner, if you will. So pretty neat to see some of the little things these guys do just to help themselves out and help the racing out as well.
Yeah, the quicker moves, the more you less time to figure. You go in slow, and by the time you go in slow, that car on the inside is probably going to be there when you get down there. So by the time you don't have not enough time, and there you go, big wreck.
Yeah, exactly right. So right now you've got about 17 cars in this lead pack, and then right now sitting in the 18th spot, just a couple tenths off these guys, but in a nice little pocket is that 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. Bob's in a nice little spot here. I really like where he's sitting here, because it's a nice safe spot. You're not too far from losing the draft. You've got help behind you if you need it. So he's able to react if anything should happen up front. So I kind of like where Bob is sitting here. I feel like that's a good call for him, just to be there, be ready in case of, but again, still able to make some good lap times here.
I was going to say before you start talking
Michael
about
Spell
that,
here on pit road.
Wow, really?
Yeah, not a scheduled start for this 88 car. Not sure if there's maybe something else going on that he needed to try to remedy, and that's why he decided to roll off. But yeah, so unscheduled stop here for Michael here at lap number 27. So we'll see if it's a lengthy pit stop or if it looks like just a normal in and out here. But right now, so he has hit his pit stall, and we still stay green here. As now it's that 39 of Jimmy Crow Jr. leading that outside line. You got those teammates again running the middle and the inside lanes, that 14 and the 06. And yeah, ADS just rolling out of pit road now.
Yeah, I'm fondled. I'm just kind of like puzzled. Why would he pit by himself there? That's way early.
Yeah, unless there's something going on that we're not aware of, and he decided, okay, in the cause of safety to go ahead and drop in. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get some insight at some point in this one. But say right now we still have the whole lead pack here pretty solidly bunched together. Like I mentioned, Bob's still doing the same thing from earlier in that number 08 Napa Filters car, just rolling just a little bit off the back of these guys. And then right behind him, that 21 of Andy Brigante there in that Lamborghini Chevrolet, but let's say can't go wrong with Lambo. And then right behind him, Eric Laurie in that 07. We do know for certain Eric had to burn his fast repair, so he's got to play it smart, play it safe. That's exactly what he's doing right now, as is his teammate in that 41 of Peter de Borgia. All right, man, we do need to start thinking about fuel though, because we're at lap number 11 right now, and I say we're hearing the numbers for on the aggressive side. These guys are getting about 24 laps on fuel. So based on that number, they should be able to get to about 30, probably about 35 or so roughly. On the aggressive side, JD Crow's in the wall off of 2. He's trying to keep it down. You can see he holds it steady. You see everybody reacting. There's some drop below the apron, but looks like JD's going to hang on to it. But now he's in a bit of a pickle here because he's got to try to stay out of the way, let everybody kind of build things back up. But yeah, a little moment for that 5 car, but it looks like he should be able to come through. And you see right there that teammate there, 41 of Peter de Borgia, he's going to roll in right behind him and make sure he doesn't fall off that draft. So that's some very, very selfless teamwork from that 41. He's going to get right back onto the bumper of that 5, and he's going to help him kind of stay in this main pack.
Yeah, that's a lot of respect right there. That shows you teamwork. It's just teamwork wins.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, that's the thing, is you want to have all the help you can come crunch time too. So it's selfishly, it's also maybe a little bit in your best interest as well to help those guys out. But yeah, right now though, I think looks like they're just on the edge of holding on to it right now, because they're actually dropping a little bit further back right now. It's about now 9/10 of a second. So say Peter's going to have to get pretty aggressive on the push here. The one thing they could have in their favor though, of course, is again that pit window not too far away here. So worst case scenario, they could maybe consider dropping in early if they lose this main pack. But I think right now they're just going to push as hard as they can until they get there.
We do have another obstacle. Michael Spell is about to go a lap down.
I think on the plus side for that though, it looks like they're running 2x2, so Michael should be able to just go up to the high side, up to the wall. They should be able to clear through him nice without any drama. So, but right now though, pretty big fight here. They see the 18 was running the inside. Now the 06, he's going to jump to the outside to try to get that push from his teammate to see if he can clear them on by. But yeah, I think everybody's starting to again try to jockey for that pit road position here. Yeah, there goes Michael. He's going to run that 3rd lane, which is plenty easy to do. It's a great job there. 14.06 easily clear the 18 as they go back 1-2 here as we're starting to get to that pit window. Now you got the 02 now of Todd Merkel leading this outside pack, and he's got that 32 again. 32 is in the lucky dog spot currently of BK Anderson. Now has to be a little more aggressive though, Matt, because Michael Spell is in that would be the next car in line for the lucky dog. And actually, just like we talked about that maybe the early pit stop strategy, that's exactly what we're saying here. Peter de Borgia, Eric Laurie, JD Crow, the 3 of them are coming in together earlier than they have to come in, but they should still be easily good to go to make it after this one on one more stop to the end. So I like that call. They were losing the draft a little bit. This kind of just helps kind of minimize the damage a little bit, and this allows them also should be able to get a really fast in and out if they can all kind of just stay nicely organized here.
Yeah, that's a good call by them. The 5 car did have a little bit of damage, and hopefully get those 3 cars really organized, and they should have no problem working really well together, as they did really great last season. Yeah,
it looks like trying to see where they all cycle out in relation to one another, because I think, it looks like actually Peter got too good of a stop for those guys. because he's actually he's off on his own here. He's actually having to wait for them right now. But they are locked on together, so they'll be able to push and get back forward. I think also for JD Crow, use the faster pair there as well. So yeah, those three are going to get hooked up here. So they'll stay on the lead lap, I believe, because by the time they get up to speed, I think the leaders are going to have to hit pit road here, probably not in about the next 2 to 3 laps, I would say. Then, of course, the question would be who stays out the longest on that fuel-saving method.
I think BK wants to get his lap back the hard way.
He's working on it, but I see a few drivers starting to get situated here. It looks like a lot of the TW drivers are starting to kind of get organized here as well. As you can see, I mean, you look behind Jim Brooks here, and you've got, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I saw TW all lined up here. But this is also the opportunity for what I like to do is when you've been saving this whole run, now you jump to the top, you start to make those big pushes to try to see if you can gain that track position, go that extra lap or two, versus those that have been running real aggressively and just burning all their fuel now. So we'll see if that happens as well. But you're right, though. I say at this point, BK has a good opportunity here. Might even be able to get himself back in the lead lap without the wave around. So we'll see what he can do here as they head into 3.
He can go a little bit further if he did take on fuel, but I don't think that would be happening. You always have to have a buddy to pit with.
No, yeah, there's no sense for BK. I think he's going to have to, unless he kind of cycles out right with somebody. I think you're right. I think he's got to find someone to pit with, or ideally probably a group realistically to pit with. But we'll have to keep an eye on that because, yeah, looking at BK Anderson, he pitted on 16, whereas everybody else here pitted at 10 and 11. So he's about 5 laps difference than those guys. That could also be a bonus for that 32 car because he could also put in a little less fuel. Maybe he could actually jump out in front of the lead pack and be able to kind of be the not net leader of the race, but leading the pack, but being on the tail end of the lead lap. So that could be an option for him as well. Do you need to mention a little further back, those guys that lost the draft, the 53, 60, 171, and 16, they are all hitting pit road. And here comes a few more drivers.
Here come the TW guys.
Yeah, Robert Rock along with some of the TW drivers. Or sorry, Robert DuPont with some of the TW drivers. The 24 of Everett Lane. And, oh, I saw one kiss the cone there that may have been... Trying to check what car that one... No, it wasn't Todd Siebels. Trying to check who that was. Maybe I think it was maybe Jay Hilliard. They also brought in Robert Jordan along with him as well. So they said pretty much the whole TW pack there hit pit road. So we'll keep an eye on things on how that's going. And also need to mention, Matt, JD Crow, Eric Gorey, Peter DeBorgia, 50-45 for them in the 3-car draft they have. It's 50-47 for Todd Merkel and that leading the second pack here. So right now, say they are, with the 3 of them, they're definitely doing what they need to do.
Yep, I think here I come our leaders. Yep, here they come.
Yep, here they all come. Hopefully getting, Todd Merkel way too hot. 06, I'm sorry, I think too hot. But now we got to watch
Merkel,
for the car. Looks and say that was it's a tough thing.
No, Cody Nails got nabbed for speeding.
Yeah, he looked way too hot on my side too, unfortunately. So that's going to be a 40-second stop and hold on this pit stop. So he's going to lose the draft, lose a lap actually probably. Also going to be a stop and hold, we know for sure, for the 2 for missing his pit cone. So yeah, we'll have to see here how it all shakes out. But right now, the one driver that's actually saved the fuel, and he's going even further though, that 37 to Keith Horner, he is going to try to go a little further. I would suspect probably in this time, as he does have some help though, because he's got Michael Spell and B. Anderson. They're off sequence, remember. So yep, actually, but as I said, here he comes. He's going to come in on his own.
Wow, they're going to stay out.
Well, I think they can go further if they choose to. So if the 2 of them, I mean, they can work together. And there are a lot of drivers rolling out of pit road right now, so they might steal some drafts. So I'm not too opposed to this right now. The question is going to be where everybody cycles out. And right now, looks like net winner here at the moment is going to be Zach Workman pitting at lap 36 there. Right now, our net leader. Just waiting for the rest of the field, unfortunately, to catch him with a pretty solid head of steam here.
Me personally, I think if you're the 32, if you're the 88, I would have put next time by, because right now you are losing time right now to the pack.
Oh, I think we may have trouble in 3 and 4 here.
Oh, well, we got a yellow.
Out. Yeah, 74 car saw someone stopped on track. It looks like Robert Jordan was involved, Brandon Briggs as well. So that is going to be a yellow during the pit cycle. And actually, it's going to be pretty good timing here for the 37 of Keith Horner because he had just pitted there. I believe still holding on as our race leader as well. The question mark is going to be where the rest of the field are in relation. But you were talking about the pit stops, Matt. That may have been absolute perfection for that number 88 and the 32 because I don't believe they had pitted yet, and they're going to cycle around here on the lead lap and now be able to hit pit road and get lined up with these guys.
I tell you what, it was a big break for that 06.
Let's go take a look here. We're going to go back and take a look. Looks like it kicked off, like I said, around Brandon Briggs, unfortunately, so we'll try to get a better look. Oh, it was already happening by the time we get there. Let's back it up a little further. And, oh, yeah, it's definitely looks like just a little bit. So you see Brandon down on the inside. You've got, who's that on the outside? The 6 is up there. And you see the 74 down. Oh, there's a 39 that's up there as well. We'll keep a closer eye on this one here. So is obviously everybody's kind of either coming up to speed or still building speed. And it looks like, oh, I don't...
It was a big bump by the 510, and he got into the 6, and then it started a big chain reaction.
Yeah, there's a couple things that went on there. Not sure if it was net code or not, but unfortunately for Brandon, just nothing he could do wrong. Nothing he did wrong there. Just wrong place, wrong time, and
yeah, there's nothing Brandon did wrong.
But yeah, there's something happened there as well with the 74. But and then unfortunately you see the remaining contact there. So honestly though, for a lot of these drivers, probably a pretty big break, including those 3 right here sneaking by of Peter Borgia, JD Crow, and Eric Laurie, because they were still going to lose that draft there. So that's going to put us under that yellow here, Matt. So you see them sliding down. So actually a nice little drift there through the grass for Brandon here. But yeah, that's going to put us under yellow. And this is going to be right at the halfway mark in this race. But you see indeed here that is going to be that 37 of Keith Horner. He is going to net through as leader just as the caution came out while he was finishing up his pit stop, so pretty much perfect timing for him. And so I'm looking at the fuel mileage here, Matt, and I think at this point it's pretty much a no-brainer. It's going to be a one stop to the end to the as we're at lap number 37, or sorry, we're at lap 39. Coming around here, we're going to be at 36 to go.
I tell you what a big break for Cody Nagels, who got really lucky with his pit road speeding violation there, and Todd Merkel with his unsafe pit entry. Todd Merkel is going to get that lucky dog.
Yep, he's waving around right now to get back on the lead lap. So that's going to give us 31 back on the lead lap. Looks like the only driver a lap down currently is the 59 of Jay Hilliard, who is just 1 down. Randy Minor is on track, but he is 22 laps down, unfortunately for him. But yeah, it looks like about the top 10 here stayed out after serving their green flag pit stops. And then from Vicente Guerrero on back, those drivers opted to go ahead and pit under this yellow. So while we're under the yellow, Matt, let's step away for a moment, catch our breath, get something to drink, and we'll be back here once again on the 1 to go. So stay tuned, everyone. All right, lights are off. Everybody's lining back up here. Todd Merkel getting his free pit stop there in that 2-car. He's going to roll back out on track as well. So that's going to, like I said, it's going to give us 31 cars still on the lead lap here. And we're going to restart this thing at 34 to go next time around. Again, one more stop left to go in this one. So say these guys still have a lot of racing to go, a lot of strategies to unfold here. So we'll see what the right call is for, say, some of these guys that topped off, maybe thinking they can put that little bit less fuel in. Say this does open up that opportunities now, though. Of course, we talked about the fuel mileage. Sounds like about 24 laps on the edge. So let's say 20 laps to play it safe for green, white checkers. That would basically get these guys to go 15 laps and then hit pit road once it opens. Or, of course, they can go basically the full 24 here and pit with just about over 10 to go. So it really gives about a 10-lap window for these guys to make those pit decisions when to go. But the big difference right now up front is look at those TW Motorsports guys. You can see them. They're sitting at 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Not a good sight if you're Keith Horner, Everett Lane, as we're going to head back to green here to start lap 42.
I forgot about her. I was just talking about B. Anderson and Michael Spell. Them extra laps they stood out there when that caution came out, saved their behind.
Yeah,
now they are back on the lead lap. It's great for them.
Worked perfectly. So yeah, a lot of big breaks with that caution. So obviously a few guys unfortunately getting damage from that, not what they wanted, but a lot of guys actually being big beneficiaries of that. Of course, the other groups that we got to talk about there is you see Keith Horner getting a nice start here. I think we're going to see the 24 probably drop in line. Maybe not, actually. I think he's going to try to keep Charles Johnson behind him here. But also some of those guys that lost the draft, they're a big benefit for them as well, like the 53. We mentioned him losing the draft with some of those other guys like Joseph Morales and company. So a lot of drivers benefit from that. But yeah, great restart here for that 24. He's going to get that push he was wanting from Charles Johnson here. He's going to clear. But so far, Charles can't clear yet. So will the 24 stay committed to the 9, or is he going to go ahead and drop low? Because he might have to, because I think he's going to get picked on here. Because once those TWs start to build that momentum, I think we could see Charles jump up top to the 3rd.
Yeah, I really do see that happening. There is a whole swarm of white cars right behind the 24 car.
Yeah, so if you're probably sweating a little bit like, oh man, I don't know if this is what I want to have behind me, but it's what he's got right now. As we stay under green here, as it's Keith Horner, Everett Lane side by side there at the start-finish line. But here comes those TW guys. They're starting to pick up that 3rd lane, being led by Dean Wilkinson. There's Todd Siebels up in that mix as well. And trying to peek in, I think that's the 16 of Michael Taylor. He was also one that had lost that draft as well, so great recovery for him in that 16 as well. So still a lot of racing to go, but again, a lot of drivers kind of giving themselves new life here.
Yeah, I think the aggression is picked up because everybody's seen all the white cars up in front.
Yeah, I say notably, for me, is the 45 of Todd Siebels. He's usually Mr. just cruise control until after the last pit stop, but I think he knows that just the way this race has gone, he's going to want to have some track position here. So one driver that I say I've been ignoring, and I don't want to get in trouble here, Matt, is the 51 of Jim Brooks. He's been pretty much just sitting right in the top 10, pretty much from the drop of the green, just kind of living on that yellow line, just cruise control, really. Just letting everybody fight it out, and he's been just kind of running his own race and but staying in this main pack. So not too bad of a start for him right now, but again, still lots more to go here.
Yeah, you better keep your eye on it. You don't pop stuff.
Yeah, I get in trouble. I say if I don't talk about it too much. I say plus he's got the league sponsor on the hood, and yeah, I say it's bad news if I don't give him too much attention here.
But he's quietly just doing his thing like the old Jim Brooks style. It's patiently waiting, trying to stay out of trouble, and hopefully get a good finish out of it.
Yes, and also looking around to see for those that maybe were involved in the incident pit stop times. There were a few lengthy pit stops involved in this one. Robert Jordan, he had about a 39-second stop in that 74 car. Also, Jay Hilliard had about a 49-second stop for him in the 59. So and right now, double checking our timing and scoring, I think we actually do have a possible lucky dog battle, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to double check that. I think right now Brandon's rolling as the last car on the lead lap here in that 30th spot. But right now, I think I'm showing Jay Hilliard. I think maybe one down if my timing and scoring is correct. Yeah, so right now The 59 and the 510 are both one down. However, the 510's not too far away from going two down as he's on his own here on the tri-oval. But new name, new face to the front here, Matt. 40, Brian Grimm.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen him up at the front last season. Probably about one time.
But they are, and that's what's happening right now is TW's trying to take control of this race right now, Matt. You can see they got the 40 and the 28 in the middle, and the 9, 55, and the 45 on the top. So say right now the only car they don't have in control in this race is on the inside line, which is still the 37 of Keith Horner. But say with another good push or two here, that 40, if he chooses to, could drop to the inside line in front of that 37. So now it's just, again, it's all about kind of make the right move at the right time until we get to that magic, probably about 20 to go, when I think that pit window is going to start to really open up, and that's when I think the strategy is going to start to kick off.
Yeah, I don't know what Brian Grimm is doing. He had a chance to. Whoa. Okay, it looks like Everett Lane just jumped to the very top.
Yeah, say Everett was pushing. I think probably also, honestly, I think probably got a little bit hot and said, hey, I got to go somewhere. Had no room on the bottom, so he's going to jump top. But look what that's done to the inside lane. They have just snuck away here, and that's going to allow now Keith Horner to take the lead nice without too much drama, but also push that 51 of Jim Brooks now up into the top 3 here for the moment. We'll see if he does any movement there and try to maybe shove himself up into the mix at the moment. But right now, it looks like, again, I think he's just content right now. Just in a nice little spot here, just on the inside line, just to say up front, but just cruising on that yellow line. And I'll say we'll see at some point. I think at this point, Matt, it's kind of looking like he's going to wait and just kind of let this race unfold until it really is time for him to make those moves. But yeah, right now we've got once again, about 20 cars roughly in this main pack, and then we start to separate just a little bit. These guys playing a little bit cautious, let's say, leading off with that 53 of Quabi Brooks. And then same thing a little further back, you got Bob Fitzgerald right there, Andy Bergante, Peter de Borgia, and then you get to the kind of the boot knockers there with JD Crow, Eric Laurie as well. So don't count those guys out, and say still a few more TW drivers there as well with Robert Rock there, as well as that 510 who is, again, he's 2 down right now, but he's got a teammate to help him, so I'll have to keep an eye on that as we go back up front.
That is really impressive what I just saw right there from Richard Sanchez there. Holding the apron and still managed to keep the trap. That is, I can't do that. That's
and it's interesting,
profound.
Daytona and Talladega, too, very, very different animals on the apron. Talladega is definitely a lot more, what do you call it?
Banking.
Yeah, there's more banking on it, so yeah, it's a lot more forgiving. That's the word I was looking for. Than Daytona. Daytona, yeah, if you catch the apron, you've got to be real careful about how you work the apron here. But yeah, right now though, say these guys they're making it pretty easy right now, Matt. Say we're 3 wide here. Looks like about 5 rows deep currently.
Oh, that's scary.
Oh, we got a motor.
Oh, we got someone blow motor.
Yep, the 07 of Todd Merkel. Oh, we got, or sorry, not Robert. Yeah, the 07 Robert DuPont. But then, unfortunately, behind them, it just all kicked off. Todd Merkel, he's up onto the outside wall here. And it looks like, he's going to just, you see right there, he's locking the brakes. These guys, Joe, man, Eric Laurie barely squeaking by there. And say Brandon Briggs goes by as well. So let's say nothing done wrong, just the car got too hot. And the 07 going to try to limp this thing back to pit road. Now the question is, how bad some of these drivers got hurt in that yellow. Let's go see who all wound up involved in this one. But yeah, just unfortunate that motor just it popped there for the 07. Nothing he could do at that point.
Yeah, it was just a chain reaction. Jim got a little piece of that.
Yeah, you can already see the smoke coming out the back of it. So we'll back it up just a little further here for that 07. And say we'll take another look. You'll say as you watch, you're going to see that puff of black smoke right there. That's the motor blowing. And then at that point, it's just he just drops speed immediately. Yeah, Jim gets into the back of him, and Robert's trying to do everything he can in his power to save it. You see that Jim actually in the reaction there, he kind of bobbles a little bit, catches the 28 and the 2, and then you see Derek Walker up there. He just touches the wall here, trying to get that thing woed down as well. And then there's the 59 with a little bit of contact as well. But I think we'll see here as they come a little further through, a little contact between the 53 and the 20. And it looks like the 39 of Jimmy Crow Jr. as well. So yeah, so a couple cars getting a little bit of a piece of that. Hopefully not too significant of damage, but although we're kind of watching the path of Jimmy Crow Jr., and that's going to be, it's a solid contact to the inside wall. So it's going to put us back under yellow here, Matt. And yeah, so unfortunately, a few more drivers with some damage that are going to need repairs, and a lot of drivers here. I say, well, actually, I think everybody's going to hit pit road once again, get services done to their car.
The question is, Kyle, can we make it to the end here?
This is on the absolute edge of the fuel window, Matt. This will be interesting here as Everett Lane, he's going to roll off. So I do think we're going to see probably a lot of cars that are going to probably top off here. We'll see here. You see Jay Hilliard, he's going to roll in behind the pace car. Trying to see if anybody got the wave around or not on this one, because I say someone should be driving by this pace car, but so far nobody's gone yet. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. I think the 59 was involved, and that eliminates him from the opportunity of it. But the 510 not going either. So I think what Jay Hilliard's doing here at this point is he's kind of taking a gamble here. These guys are going to try to just basically stay out, not pit, take the wave around, and hope for another yellow to get them back into it.
Excuse me. I really think that a lot of people will be a lot more conservative this time around because they're so close on fuel.
Oh, and a tough break here as well for the 18 of Zach Workman. He was in this main pack pretty much all night long. Unfortunately, a power outage for the 18, so that's night over for him. But it says he'll be back next week. So yeah, no, you were having a really good night there, Zach, and definitely sorry to see you go, and especially under those circumstances. So hopefully power situation gets resolved here quickly, and yeah, so you kind of get power back to the house in general too. But yeah, I'll definitely look forward to seeing you back next week. You were definitely in the thick of it here tonight, man.
Speaking of YouTube chat, let's get a little update on Derek Walker.
Let's see where Derek is at in that 20. He had a long pit stop there, Matt. He had a minute and 12 on pit road, just trying to get that car damage repaired manually. Also some lengthy pit stops, including Brandon Briggs was at 23 seconds on pit road. And then looks like that's, I think, actually the majority of them. So I think those were the pit stops for those guys. So yeah, so really it looks like the one who got the most damage out of it was that 20. You can still see a little bit, we'll zoom in a little bit, get a better angle of it. You can see that left front's got a little crinkle, kind of the left side in general, really. But I don't think he's going to be too bad of shape here. I suspect we'll probably see him go ahead and top off here and get that little extra splash of fuel, as it looks like Brandon Briggs is going to lead those that are topping off here, Matt. But I'm going to say yes, fuel-wise, good to the finish. Question mark for the green-white checkers at this point in the race. So that could be that can be strategy number 2 here for some of these drivers, is to go ahead and maybe try to save fuel here. If we get into that green white checker territory, if the leaders all have to pit, he can go ahead and take that splash of fuel. Another driver actually that did have some lengthier stop too, the 51 Jim Brooks, 27 seconds on pit road. Saying that makes sense because we saw the contact to the back of the 07 when that motor popped.
Yeah, and that's the first time we saw that one. But that could have been a lot worse than it actually was.
No, I mean that motor popped in about the top 5 or so, and the fact that really only about 5 or 6 cars got any real damage to it is pretty impressive on its own. So definitely some quick hands, quick reactions once again from a lot of our drivers here tonight. So yeah, so up front though, I say these two feel like they're probably, again, it's kind of us against the world right now, or us against TW, because you see again, once again behind me at the 55, Dean Wilkinson, 9 of Charles Johnson, the 40 Brian Grimm, the 45 of Todd Siebels. So you know you got 4 teammates lined up right behind you too. So I'll say Keith Horner, Everett Lane, they might need to start kind of working on their own agenda here and say, hey, we might got to work together depending on how the rest of this race goes.
One thing that really concerns me, if you got a little bit of damage in your car, and knowing it's probably going to be a fuel save race from here on out, I probably would have used my fast repair there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the draft obviously the great equalizer, but I think a lot of these guys probably expecting to see another yellow here, because again, once you get to the point where you can make it on fuel, Usually
Right.
aggression starts to ramp up just that little bit more. Everybody starts to get a little more selfish, a little more greedy, a little more aggressive. So we'll see though, because we're gonna restart map 23 to go, and we talked about that fuel window being right on the 24 range. So feeling pretty good. Like I said, I think these guys could make it on regulation. I think if overtime comes into play, I think that point they're out of the hunt on the fuel mileage. So we're back to green though, as Everett Lane, Keith Horner get the field back rolling again. And once again though, I'll say these guys I think went just a little early, and again splitting that field up here. Oh, but Keith Horner is going to be a lonely man on this outside line here as they build up speed here through 1 and 2.
Well, he's got room to duck in between the 55.
Looks like he's got help coming in the form of BK Anderson, 'cause that Cheerios car is coming with a big head of steam right now. So I think he still wants to try, if he can, I think he wants to try to stay as that lead car in that middle lane. The question mark will be, will these TW drivers here try to jump to the outside of Everett Lane, or do they stay content riding behind him at the moment? Because again, there's still a question of fuel mileage, but nope, there it is. Everett Lane, he's going to have Dean Wilkinson jump to his outside, and there's 3 TW drivers up against him here.
Oh, that's a lonely feeling.
The odd man out right now is that 40. You can see he tried to see if he could squeeze out there, couldn't do it. Dean Wilkinson's going to take the point. Charles Johnson's able to clear as well, but Todd Siebels can't quite do it. So this is going to stack these guys up just that little bit more here. And I'll say keep an eye on that 24. If he can get the opportunity, I think we'll see him jump to the middle. And yep, there he goes, right in front of that 40. Big move there as we get back to 3-wide racing.
Yeah. I really don't blame the guy for doing it. One, getting ganged up like that, it's pretty terrible. But it really shows right now he really, really wants to win this race.
Yeah, Todd Siebels, he pushed him to the front, then he jumps to the inside line. So now Todd Siebels going to lead that TW train on the bottom. And then now it's the 5 and the 24 and the middle. Outside is the 32 and the 37. And then you got those teammates right behind the 14 and the 06, also in that third lane. And I say here comes some of the boot knockers as well. You see the 5, the 41, and the 39. They have found each other in that middle lane behind these 24 cars. So I say business starting to pick back up again in that top 5.
These guys are not thinking about fuel. So either number one, they're good to go, or they know they can't make it and just running it out.
Yeah, and I think also, yeah, so I think they're probably thinking they can go to the end. However, unfortunately, just off the back, we talked about that damage, we talked about the fast repairs, Matt. Unfortunately, it looks like Derek Walker, he has lost the draft of these guys up in front of him. So he's going to have to just, at this point, unfortunately, you never want to be that guy, but he's going to have to root for a yellow to get him back into the thick of this thing. So right now, though, those boot knockers are pushing hard. You see the 5 and the 41. They have cleared Jimmy Crow Jr. Not quite clear, but they stay running together in that middle lane. I think trying to see if they can all stay together and try to maybe get 3 of them cleared in front of that 24 Everett Lane.
Looks like JD Crow is going to take the point here.
Yeah, we'll see if that's...
Oh,
nope.
41 tried to squeeze it.
Wasn't quite clear, and that's the...
No, wasn't quite clear.
We talked about it that week in and week out. We saw it once again. 41 tried to go, but just wasn't quite enough. So now it's going to be the 41 and the 39 working together here in that middle lane. But peeking in the mix, look at, there's the 6 car. I was just about to say, Bud Steele, he's peeked into the picture. Oh, almost contact between the 16 and 37 there through the tri-oval. But Steele is going to try to lead this third lane now as he works to the outside. But that was close between him and the 37 there, Keith Horner.
Yeah, I'm watching.
But I was inches
really
from
close.
I was inches from 4 wide there, but we stay green still. As here comes Everett Lane, he saw the momentum. He's able to jump to the top, try to hop in front of Peter Borgia. Peter's just going to shove him straight on by, no problem at all. And they're actually going to clear the 2 of them, possibly the 3 of them. Peter had to roll out of it there. He tried to cut underneath the 24, close the door. That was very, very close. And once again, Peter just cutting him a little bit of slack. My goodness, these guys are going for it.
Like I said, that 24 wants to win this race, and once again, I can't blame him for faulting for trying to beat him down there.
I'll say the problem for him right now is, as I'm looking in our chat on Discord, he is on his own, so he's going to have to try to find some friends to work with him at some point in this one. Because I'm watching right now, and I say, there it is. I was going to say, we're going to see the move happen because the 41 and the 5, they cleared the 39, and we're going to see a 3-car train here, see if they can sneak on by. We'll see this time, can the 3 of them all shove by the 24? It looks like 2 maybe, but I don't think we're going to see that 3rd car once again, though. Say they just haven't had the push yet, because that inside line got a great shove from that 45 Todd Siebels.
And here's a name we haven't talked about all day long. Is that 16 of Michael Taylor's leading that group on the outside lane with Bud Steele pushing. Had a great run for him so far.
Yeah, Michael Taylor making a big charge here. Say earlier we say the only thing mentioned we had was that he had lost the draft, unfortunately. But now, like I say, get the caution he needs. He's right into the thick of it as well. They said leading that 3rd lane has some help with Bud Steele, but just again, it seems like it just takes a little bit for that 3rd lane to really form and really get rolling strong here, and it just hasn't happened yet at this point in this after this restart. So we'll have to keep an eye and kind of just see if and when it happens. So right now, saying of course the opportunity will be lap traffic, which right now isn't too far away in the form of the 2 of Todd Merkel. I'll say it looks like Todd right now going through the trial as these guys come out of 4, so probably another about 2 laps roughly. I think they'll be on the back of that 2 car, but let's say right now, let's say the problem's going to be if they go 2 or 3 wide, and that's going to say, yep, there it is, 3 wide, and it's going to be BK Anderson leading his the Cody Nagels up on the top side along with Vicente Guerrero. So here come the teammates, Matt, working that 3rd lane together.
Yeah, they're going to have to make something happen. They can't just sit back and let it happen, because them TW boys are just dominating this race right now.
And a big move there for Everett Lane. He saw the momentum shifting to the top. He jumped to cover the top. That's opened the inside for Todd Siebels, but it forces Peter Borgia to lock on behind that 24, because here comes that 3-car push on the outside lane. Those teammates working together, and they have gotten to about the 4th row here as they come out of 4. Probably going to start to creep up to that 3rd row. Ooh, a little bit of bobble from the TW guys on the inside line. They gather up. They're good to go here, but yeah, they're going to come through. They're going to catch Todd Merkel here pretty much right into turn 1, it looks like. So I suspect we'll see Todd drop to the apron, but man, these guys are fighting really hard right now to try to get that track position.
Whoa, what a move by the 41.
Yeah, they are all just picking on the 24 Everett Lane as they
hung out to dry.
He feels like he's getting bullied right now by these guys. He's gonna need to find some help. The question is where, because there's just so many partnerships around this field here tonight. You've got now the 06 and the 32. They've cleared that middle lane. Unfortunately, Vicente not able to clear, so now put those teammates on the middle lane here together. And then say you got 3 boot knockers on the inside. As I said, look at these guys are really moving around, Matt, trying to control the lanes. As here they go, they're gonna go top here. Man, these guys are fighting. They're making big moves, and we still got 15 to go, 14 at the line, Matt. It is there's no fuel questions right now. These guys are just going to go for everything right here.
Yeah. I'm just really, really concerned that if we have a green-white checker here, are these guys going to make it? Question mark, question mark.
Yeah, exactly right. So I do have to give a big thanks to that number 2, Todd Merkel. Not what he wanted, but he had to roll out of it, let this field on by, and he has unfortunately lost that draft once again. Is now BK Anderson gets a great push run 24. He takes the lead over, goes from the 3rd lane to the bottom in front of the 5 of JD Crow. But here comes the momentum shift once again to that middle lane of the 41 of Peter Borgia. And again, it's just the ebb and flow. Whichever lane gets the better push, that's the lane that starts to promote themselves forward. As right now, Peter just had a nose ahead at the trial, but at the line, I believe it was BK possibly once again. But yeah, these guys, this is a fight right now up front here.
Yeah, it's very, very much a dogfight here. It's kind of want me to get out of my chair just a little bit here.
Yeah, so you see the middle lane starting to get that big push there from the 06 to the 41. And again, there's still over 10 laps to go. So these guys, they got to be careful. They've already seen one driver overheat their engine, pushing for too hard for too long. So it's definitely not at that point in this race to do so. But you're also, a little bobble there from the inside lane. It drifts up to the middle. They hang on to it once again. But I'm also starting to see a few more TW drivers start to creep up into the mix. I'm seeing about 6 to 7 of them, if I'm not mistaken, there, being led still by Todd Siebels and Dean Wilkinson on that inside lane.
A top lane may prevail going down the backstretch here.
Yeah, we'll see how the momentum shifts again. You'll always see the inside line. They're going to have the advantage to the turns, the shorter distance, but then the momentum shift to the outside is just, it's so apparent. The question, of course, is the better push from the middle or the top? As right into there, it looks like it's the the middle for Peter Borgia. He had cleared for a moment the 32 BK Anderson, but again, chooses to stay in that middle lane. So say for Cody Nagels, he's pushing hard, but he's got to watch those temperatures still in the low 6 car.
Hey, definitely do not want to blow motor here. We saw what happened the first time.
Yeah, exactly right. I think now these guys packed even tighter. It's just going to be that much worse. But so far, so good. Everybody's still able to keep things going, and it's just, yeah, you just kind of wonder when that shoe is going to drop. Basically, Matt, it's like never the feeling you want to have, but just the way this race has gone. As you see, actually, Dean Wilkinson, he's dropped to the inside in that 55. So something he either saw he didn't like, or maybe the temperatures he just couldn't get him cooled back down. So he's actually dropped out of this fight at the moment. But don't be surprised to see Dean back into at some point in the remainder of this race. Because again, this time by Matt, we're going to be down to 10 to go at the line here. So a ton of racing left to go here. And I'm kind of on board here with that plan from the 55, because I don't know if we're going to be able to handle this for 10 more laps, because this is getting very sketchy.
Wow, he really backed up. I got my eyes on the front here.
I see right there again. You never want to have to do it, but always love when it does happen. Just the respect from these guys, as you saw the 20 of Derek Walker. You don't want to lose the draft again, but he drops to the apron to let the field on by and kind of let them race it out at this point in it. So it's such a tough pill to swallow. But again, I got to give a huge shout out to those guys, like you just saw Tom Merkel do, now Derek Walker as well. A little bit of an apron there for the 32 on entry, but he's going to hang on to it. But it's going to cost momentum. This will be a very big opportunity for Peter Borgia, should he choose to. Could cut to the middle lane here, or to the inside lane, but actually recovered very well on the inside lane by BK Anderson. So we will continue to stay 3 by 3 here, as we're now down to single digits here, 9 to go.
If I had to pick a winner, I don't know. Because these guys are racing really clean, really hard right now.
I'll say so at this point, Matt, I'd say the winner could either be the 43, the 41, or the 32, or sorry, the 24, the 32, or the 41, or whichever driver behind them that gets through the potentially inevitable wreck.
Yeah, I we don't want to see that.
Oh no! If this stays green, I mean that's what everybody.
Oh, I almost did the commentator curse.
We almost jinxed it there. But you're right though. I mean, I'm all the drivers and pretty much I know us and hopefully everybody watching. You want to see this go green to the end, because I mean this is what these guys love to do. They want to race hard and race aggressive for as long as they possibly can. It just adds to the challenges. Oh, Jimmy Crow Jr. just again drifting up a little bit there through 1 2. Again, they hang on to it, but the problem is at some point that, like you said, Matt, that shoe's going to drop, because they're going to squeeze themselves a little bit too hard, and that's going to drift them up into a car, and that's where we're going to see the big trouble. So I would say we're down to those 7 to go. Will be next time around, and right now I'd say it's whoever gets the push, but just nobody's been able to clear one another for these past about 5+ laps.
I'm worried about that 14 car. His temperature got to be screaming right now.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep an eye a little bit on Vicente as well, and you can see he just kind of peeks out every so often. And I say we talked about that center punch rear end of Michael Spell earlier. That 24, he's also got it now as well at Everett Lane. So, but right now, say they're pretty much boxed in here. As like I said, if you're on the inside lane, you can't really do much, and on the outside lane, the middle lane, there's not really a lot of room for you to go either. So these guys they're kind of stuck with what they got here. So I said they just gotta wait for some sort of a bobble or shakeup, I think, to really, for those guys that are kind of in that mid pack, to have a chance to do something with it. And so you can see some guys starting to creep back in. I'd say great recovery for the 74 of Robert Jordan. He's right up there. Oh, there's the move that I was talking about.
That was a big move.
And that was what I was talking about. Peter Borgia, he finally saw an opening. He jumps to the top side. But we saw these guys were not trying to work together too well earlier with the 41 and the 24. So we'll see if they kind of, again, forced cooperation, if you will, just for the sake of trying to get themselves up front. So For the boot knockers, they've got now the 41, the 5 on the middle, the 39 behind the 32. So right now, kind of BK Anderson's the non-boot knocker in this top 3 front pack here. Oh, but great push from Cody Nagels, but not in. Oh, yeah, just can't quite clear. You know he wants to get in front of his teammates so they can work together, but just couldn't quite do it there. As we're going to come down this time by, Matt, we're going to be at 5 to go.
Oh, guys, this is a nail biter. I don't know about that move with the 41. It may pay off or it may not.
Yeah, it's hard to say what was the right call there, and it might have been some teamwork. Maybe JD Crow's like, hey, I can't cool my car down. We've got to do something. And so Peter's like, okay, I'll jump to the top to let you lead that middle lane so you can cool your car off. And again, that's things you can do on a team Discord to work together and make those strategy calls. So, but yeah, right now, if you're a little bit further back there, like they talked about the 45 Todd Siebels, he's the 3rd car on the inside line. He's just pinned. He cannot go anywhere right now. He's just got to wait and see how things unfold and just hope and see if there's an opening. As again, a little bobble on entry, but we're still good. So yeah, right now we stay 3 by 3. Yeah, the question mark is to say, we know that everybody can run 3 by 3 here, no problem. Do we see some desperation, Matt, in these closing laps? Does somebody try to find a way to force a 4th lane to just do something to try to find their way to the front?
Either the 24 is holding something back that we're not unaware of. It's one big giant push toward the end. Somehow he can get the win.
It's I mean,
it's a tough call.
And it's very possible though, Matt, because again, the goal really is to try to save that temperatures for that last lap, for that final just massive push where kind of temperatures be damned, you're gonna go for it. So you will see a lot of that. You'll see these guys try to probably just find any way to cool these cars down just that little bit extra to make that very, very late charge where they just go for everything. Oh, Cody Nagels, he finally gets an opening in front of the 41. He jumps to the top here, Matt. That's going to be a great opportunity for that 06 car because now, again, you got teammates now on the inside and the outside. Middle being the 5 of JD Crow. But, oh, man, they are going after it. Still 3 to go here. Eric Lorry's in the mix now as well, Matt, as he lines up behind his teammate there in the 5. Oh, man, that was a big move, though, for that 06 car.
Everybody is, like, pinching each other down. It's just like crazy trying to get that side draft going. But I'm looking for that big run on the 3rd lane up top.
Yeah, I say Cody's got a good push, but I don't think it's enough to clear yet, so he's going to have to stay up on the top side. I say, because again, you never want to be, a little bobble up top, 2 touching the wall, Michael Spell, but again, great reactions. Looks like we're going to stay green because they were able to cut off the wall. Everybody else was able to give room. I say, I think Keith Horner as well is one of those that rolled off the throttle to avoid it. So hats off again, Keith. Great recovery there. But we're coming down to it, Matt. Again, little bobbles, 2 to go here. If these guys somehow, Matt, can make it one more lap to that start-finish line, at that point, we will race this thing to the conclusion, to regulation, as Jimmy Crow Jr. bobbles on the inside line. But we still got to make it about a little over half a lap here at Talladega.
Oh man, it's just I would love to see this Bill Greener. So
I'm nervous.
These guys are not giving an inch to each other. I can tell you that right now.
So right now you can see the edge is going to the 5 and the 32. They've got just a nose ahead of that 3rd lane there. But like you said, you're going to see eventually that 3rd lane is going to make that big charge with Peter Borgia pushing the 06.
Right now. Here we go.
Yeah, it's going to get down to it. So if they can make it through the travel here, Matt, at this point it will be an official race, and we will race it to the checker.
White flag.
White flag's in there. This is it, folks. This is the final lap here at Talladega. Will it be BK Anderson? Will it be JD Crow? Will it be the 06 Cody Nagels? Or will someone else find a way to peek through this mess? But right now it's looking very good for that 32 BK Anderson. He's got a little nose ahead. As a little bit up in front there, you saw a 2 car of Todd Merkel. They're catching him again.
Look at that 3rd lane.
Yep, here comes the 06 Cody Nagels. He's going to get a big push here. As actually the inside's fizzling out.
Will JD Crow drop to the bottom? Will he drop?
I think he's got to stay with his teammate Eric.
No, he's going to drop to the bottom.
He covers the bottom. Eric Lorry's going to try to pinch the 32 down here as they come out of 4. You see, there's the 22. He moves to the apron here. He's going to let him race it out. There goes JD Crow. They're trying to make some moves. Contact in front. Contact in the back as well. Big wreck in the travel. Up front, though, it's going to be JD Crow getting the win over Todd Siebels. Eric Lorry going to finish in 3rd. But, oh, man, big wreck at the end. Oh, it was a wreck actually after the finish line as well, as Todd Siebels goes for a flight there. But it is going to be JD Crow, and he did exactly what you said, Matt, there. He needed to get to the bottom. He did, and I think that's the move that won him that race tonight.
Wow.
Oh, all right, Matt. We got to unfold a very wild last lap there, or actually, I'd say maybe a very wild turn 4, really. So let's go back here because we're going to jump to about where we saw Todd Merkel. He jumped out of the way, so again, big props to Todd. But then we got to look behind because this is where things got a little dicey. The 32 was trying to make a move in the 5, but Jimmy Crow Jr., he had run. He tried to cut left underneath the 32, and then you see behind him they're also wrecking as well. They're involving the 53, the 63, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero as well. I think Charles Johnson was in that as well. And then behind them continuing to wreck. And yeah, so unfortunately that was where that first initial contact came from. JD Crow, everything looking good for him, but then look at this battle here, 4 wide here through the start finish line, Matt, for right around the top 5 here. And it looks like the 82 of Dan Harrington was going to grab 4th. Cody Nagels winds up coming home in 5th with Peter DeBorgia there in 6th. But man, what a wild one. And yeah, Michelle, he was there. He was in a good spot, just unfortunately. So he was up against a lot of teamwork there at the end. But what a race, what a finish. That, again, I'll say we didn't jinx them out. Those guys went over 20 laps. I believe it was, 23 laps on the restart. Caution-free, 3x3 for 20 laps or so of it. But in the end, JD Crow gets the win here tonight. All right, so before we get to our interviews, let's pull up our final results for this event. As you saw, JD Crow getting the win there by a little over a tenth over Todd Siebels. Eric Laurie there, our top 3. And then Dan Harrington, Cody Nagels, our top 5. And then 6th to 10th, you got Peter DeBorgia, Michael Taylor, Robert Jordan. Again, his opening night gets a top 8. Everett Lane, unfortunately, finishes at 9th. Not the result he was looking for, but was right in it for the whole entirety of that one tonight. Brian Grimm brings home a top 10. And then 11th through 18th, you've got Michael Spell, Jim Brooks right there, Dave Bingle, Keith Horner, Bob Fitzgerald, Dean Wilkinson, Robert Rock, and Brendan Briggs there, unfortunately, in 18th after he got involved in that late incident. And we'll continue running through the order here from 19th on back. You've got BK Anderson was in the top 3 in that wreck at the end. Unfortunately, that drops him almost out of the top 20. Quabi Brooks there in 20th. Jimmy Crow Jr., same thing, was trying to get that top 3 position as well. The contact between him and BK drops Jimmy down to 21st. And you got Joseph Morales, Charles Johnson, Vicente Guerrero, Bud Steele, Andy Bergante, our last of the lead lap finishers. And then unfortunately those a lap or more down, including Jay Hilliard and Derek Walker. And then Todd Merkel, again, hats off to Todd dropping to the apron there. So again, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I'll say definitely big respect to you there, Todd. And unfortunately, Richard Sanchez, Robert DuPont, Zach Workman, Randy Miner, Paul Sheldon, and Mark Mistrea, our 35th place finisher.
A big shout out to Everett Lane. Drove a beautiful race.
He drove wheels off that thing.
Yeah,
tonight.
he had. Like I said, big shout out to him. No really to work with out there. A show did determination to win. Him having no teammates, he did the best he could. Good job there, Everett.
Yeah, I say he was going to be between a rock and a hard place like we talked about, but he did everything he could. Just unfortunately didn't get the result he was hoping for. But let's go back. Let's start chatting with some drivers here, and we're going to kick it off with that 071 of Eric Laurie. Saying, Eric, you started in 8th, bring it home in 3rd. I'll say, obviously, anything but a straightforward race because you were, unfortunately, caught up in that early incident. Had to burn the faster pair pretty much right off the bat, but bring it home in 3rd there at the end. I mean, you guys 3x3 for 23 roughly laps on that restart. I mean, just how do you kind of get your mindset through that last portion of the race where it's like, okay, we're 3x3. I can't go anywhere until someone else makes a move, and I try to kind of shuffle my way somewhere forward. Like, how do you kind of strategize that and try to make that right call to get there at the end? Because, I mean, it was an amazing fight with all of you there at the end. But just, I mean, how tough was it to pull that out?
Oh, it's really tough being there in the center. Just hang on, go for it. and hope for the best because it was a blast. I loved it.
I mean, it was beyond exciting there, and I mean, obviously, once it starts getting towards the crunch time, like everybody's gonna start to make those big aggressive moves and try to do something. And was that something where you're just like, okay, I'm gonna try to stay locked on to JD there, or once you saw him drop to the inside, it's like, okay, this maybe is my opportunity to make something happen. I mean, there's just so much movement going on, and it seemed like I said, just you didn't know what was gonna be the right choice there at the end. It looked like.
Well, things didn't pan out for us what we wanted to get done. The communication between everybody working, trying to keep up the front there, was a big time help with everybody. Couldn't done it with anybody else, and it was a lot of fun.
I'll say it looked fun. It looked stressful. So this is definitely one I was probably pretty happy to be up top here tonight watching this one. But just amazing finish, just a hell of a drive. Like I said, a great recovery for you as well there tonight. So just well done tonight, Eric, getting that podium here, that top three. So definitely before we let you go here, want to give you any thanks and chats you'd like to give for getting that podium tonight.
Well, I want to thank the whole crew for that. The communication tonight was phenomenal. And I'd like to send a thank you for all you do, and Area 51.
All right, man. Great job. Let's say great way to kick off the season as well. Obviously, a good points line as well. I'm sure not something you're really thinking about yet, but it's always good to have in the back of your mind. But yeah, just a wild one tonight, man. Congrats to that top three, and look forward to seeing more of you the rest of the season.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, so from there we got to switch over to our second place finisher. Kind of snuck through the chaos there to grab a couple spots at the end. That was the 45 of Todd Siebels. Todd was just kind of living on the inside line there for a good chunk of the race, and it seemed like at some point, Todd, you decided, like, you know what, I'm gonna need to be towards the front earlier than maybe usual in this one. Because, I mean, you were charging pretty hard with Dean there at one point, and I was like, hey, Todd Siebels is pushing here pretty early on, but, I mean, it obviously paid off because you put yourself in a really good spot there, and then obviously just kind of, I mentioned a couple times in broadcast, I almost felt like you're kind of just at some point these guys probably waiting for the shoe to drop because you knew something was going to happen somewhere, and of course you just kind of hope you come through unscathed. I mean, what was the game plan when you start getting to those final few laps there? It's like, all right, we got to the white at this point. It's on. We're just racing to the checkered now.
Yeah, those final few laps, wasn't sure what to think. Of course, we didn't really have enough fuel if there was going to be a green-white checker. A couple of our drivers, including Dean, backed off. They went to the back just knowing there was going to be some trouble. A lot of people going back, swaying side to side. They got a little concerned. I don't know. I was pinned in there. I was anywhere from 3rd to 12th, just depend. There was 3 wide. It was pretty good action up at the front. And I just had to wait for something to happen. Fortunately, the seas parted in front of me. I didn't get collected in it, and I couldn't believe I found myself in second place. Amazing.
Yeah.
Todd. This is Matt. You drove a pretty good race. Usually, I would see you during the back, most of these races. So, what was your game plan with all them TW drivers? What was going on in that little chat?
Well, we had a discussion. We were maybe 5-6 laps out we had 2 more pit stops to make, and we made a call on what fuel we were going to take. And we had a great pit stop, got in and out, and we were leading, and then the caution came out, and then we topped off, and we had enough fuel. There was a debate: were we going to have to pit, short pit? And I'm like, no, I think we got enough to make it. We're just going to be lacking if there is a green-white checker. We may have to go pit, but we stayed out and just tried to keep steady and push as hard as I could. The gentleman, Jimmy Crow, in front of me, and just see what shakes out. But turned out I finished much better than I anticipated. I never thought I'd get a second out of all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, I mean, coming out of 4, it was like, okay, all bets are off at that point because, man, it was pretty crazy there up front. And say, of course, you see the unfortunate contact between I think it was the 39 and the 23, not the 23. So I got to go through my timing and scoring here again to get the right numbers. But those top 2 on the inside line, so they make a little bit of contact. And I mean, is that just one of those things like, well, at this point you got to stay in it and you're just hoping they kind of just slide out of your way? Or, I mean, what are you doing when you see that kind of stuff happening in front of you?
Well, I was just bracing myself. I was just going to keep straight. Fortunately, they cleared the track. It was Jimmy and BK, I believe. And then when I looked to my right, there wasn't really anybody over there, and nobody on the high lane. It was just, JD in front of me, and he was too far ahead for me to do anything.
Yeah, and you're right. I say just luckily, I say things opened up for you. Like I said, you had to be able to sneak by, but obviously you're doing a great job, and you planned it perfectly. You knew you were going to be in up front to have a chance there at the end. And so unfortunately, I'm sure Dean's kind of kicking himself a little bit. It's like, oh, why did I do that? But you never know in these races. But I mean, it was a great job. Like Matt says, like we're usually waiting for you to kind of make that big move at the end of the race, but we saw you jump up around halfway, and so that's kind of our telltale. Is like, all right, I think he knows that he's going to have to start making a move a little bit earlier here. So
yeah. I was processing it. We were trying to figure out how many pit stops, and we found ourselves up front. Track position was so important at that point, and we know that if there was going to be another pit stop, it was going to be tough for us to make up all that space. So we just decided to stay up there and work together. Unfortunately, we were in the bottom two lanes, and it just kept getting people going around us on the high lane and then pushing us back or keeping us pinned in. That's where Dean got a little concerned. But it was a good race. I'm really thankful to finish in this position.
Yeah. I was looking at where you were compared on that last lap. On the back stretch of the final lap, you were in 10th spot. That is simply amazing.
Yeah, that's play racing. I say the ebb and flow. You never know what's going to be the lane to be in. But just amazing job though tonight, Todd. I say it was a great result, obviously, and I mean just wild. I mean, Matt and I were just on our toes that whole last run of the race there, because we're like, okay, can they keep this up? It's like, no, it's gonna happen. Never happens. Saying you bring home a runner up here tonight. I believe also gives you also the highest climber award as well, with the plus 29 from your starting position tonight.
Yeah.
So great job tonight, Todd. And before we let you go though, definitely want to give you the floor here for thanks and shouts for that result tonight.
Well, I wanted to add on to that, and no incident points. And I wanted to apologize. After we got past the finish line, I tried to exit out of iRacing so I didn't collide with anybody and get an incident point. And then I accidentally minimized the screen, let go of my wheel, and then I looked at the replay and I took out a bunch of people between 1 and 2. And I apologize for that if you guys are listening. I want to thank the TW drivers. I want to thank my family back in Nebraska. I'm in North Carolina, but my family in Nebraska, they always watch the broadcast and get a kick out of it. They enjoy you guys. And, Green, White Checker, we certainly do appreciate you and the great competition here at Area 51. Just a great group of drivers to work with, and we really enjoy this series.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch and be a part of. So yeah, enjoy this one, Todd. And yeah, it was definitely a wild one. Yeah, unfortunately we saw the thing at the end, but yeah, like you said, the VR is a whole different animal. Say Matt can sympathize with you. Say I don't run it too much, so I'm not too familiar with it. But yeah, say Matt and Jim and Quabi, say they feel your VR pain over there.
I don't want to talk about VR this week.
That's exactly what we're talking about. So
I'm like, good, I exited, but I still hear stuff, and I'm, oh no, I'm wrecking people.
Just to give you a little sample there before we let you go, Todd. How about leading a race and your VR freezes? How about that?
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, that's hardware failure for you, unfortunately. But yeah, great job though tonight, Todd. And
thanks, gentlemen.
Definitely look forward to seeing more of you up front, man.
Thanks, Gail, Matt. You guys have a good evening. Appreciate everything.
Likewise.
You too, sir. That leaves one driver left to chat with. Race winner JD Crow. And man, he came into that last lap, man. I think he was about 4th, I want to say, out of start finish line, that white flag, and then a great push and a great decision there to make the move to get to the inside. I was skeptical. I told him, I was like, I think he's got to stay with Eric, and you make the call, you go low, and I think that probably winds up being the winning move tonight. But I mean, it was an eventful one for you tonight. I mean, you had to work hard tonight, it looked like.
Oh yeah, it was. First of all, I get hats off to all the Area 51 guys. This has to be the best race I've been a part of, since I joined this league, and it just shows just how mature and how developed everyone from start, from position 1 to position 38, whatever we had tonight, have come in the last couple of seasons. So hats off to everybody. It was a fun race. I appreciate Eric and Pete. I goofed up and got into the wall and then kind of hammered it into the wall so I wouldn't come down in front of everybody. And they came back and kind of kept me close, and we went ahead and did an early pit, which I think really helped us get track position late because we had to take about half the gas that everybody else took on that last stop, which helped us, get closer to the front. And then, then we worked our butt off, and everybody in the race worked their butt off to finish the way we did.
Technically this is 2 in a row for you, but a non-points race from our little fun race. That's you gotta be on cloud cloud 9 right now. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit congested right now.
Well,
I do apologize.
Hey, and also that means that you're now 2 for 20.
Oh God, please don't remind me.
But yeah, it's gotta thank Dude there with Team Boot Knockers. The boss, called everybody in a couple weeks ago, Kevin and everybody, and we got our heads together. And man, the communication and the support from the team tonight was just what made a huge difference for all of us. And speedways, you got to have a good team, and you got to have you got to be selfless in many instances. And every one of the guys on this team, will do what they can to get somebody and the win and the good finish for the team. And then
right.
next race we go and do it for someone else.
Yeah, it was. And like you said, so you all were just working so hard. I mean, there's times where it looked like, okay, it looks like Boot Knocker's in a really good spot, and then we saw some of the other teammates kind of hooking up together, and they're making a good charge there with BK, Cody, and Vicente. We saw 24 Everett Lane. He was in the thick of it for a bunch of it too. I mean, you guys, and there were big moves tonight. It wasn't just like, okay, I'm just going to stay in this line and ride. It was like, all right, I've got up here. I'm going to jump from the inside to the middle or vice versa. And I mean, you guys were going which way and every way there to try to put yourself in the right spot at the right time. So yeah, you are not wrong. You guys were working hard tonight. It was wild to watch, but so you made the move that counted here tonight, JD, to get that big win, man.
Another part of it is, the cars just heat up so bad. So a lot of those moves, were just to make sure we had a car at the end, or the guy pushing had a car at the end, just to keep the team in the strongest position we could. And, I knew Eric was really, really hot, water and oil on that last lap. And as soon as I saw that lapper was out far enough that we would have, he wasn't going to impact anything. As soon as I was able to get clear, I jumped down, just to try to get a lift off of him. Plus, get some air to Eric so he could finish strong and not blow up and, destroy the field. So I was where I wanted to be, but circumstance determined I really needed to go somewhere else. And that's kind of what I decided to do. It worked out pretty good.
Yep, that's the strategy. So you love it when a plan comes together, man. But yeah, just awesome job tonight, JD. And definitely before we let you go, I want to definitely give you the floor. Shout out any thanks and shouts to give for that win to open up the season here tonight.
Oh, first of all, I got to thank Eric and Pete, and I think Robert ran with us tonight, and of course Jimmy, for all the work we did as a team. We can't do you can't do speedways, and I know I've said it many times. You just can't win a speedway by yourself. And Kevin Freeze. Also want to shout out to Tracy Weaver, who helps us a lot in some other races that he participates in. He's a big part of the Boot Knockers success as well, and we appreciate everything he does for us. And my guys down in Groveland, Florida, jconcepts.net, for all the great RC products they put together for people to enjoy with their RC cars and monster trucks and drag race cars. So shout out to them as well. Make sure when you order off their website, you mention iRacing, and who knows, maybe one day they'll help us out here.
Yeah, so don't get me back in that wormhole, man. I'll say it. They're so much fun. They're so addictive.
Well, just buy a shirt.
There you go. So that's a good way to start the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah. Just buy a shirt. It's only going to be a shirt, and then next thing you know, you got a box of tires or whatever coming. But then of course you guys for broadcast. I hope we kept you guys on your game tonight, because it sure was a lot of fun in the cars.
Oh yeah, we were on our toes this evening. I think that's putting it lightly.
Yeah, it was. I was getting a little bit nervous up here with the moves you guys are making, But like I said, hats off to you guys.
Well,
guys
like I said, those moves can't be made without the skill of everybody in this race, and really a big shout out to the Area 51 participants, because you've all really made this a lot of fun, and that's what we do. That's why we're here. We came here to get our heart rate up, and I'll be damn if we didn't.
Yeah, so there's worse ways of getting your heart rate up. So I think you guys have found a good one here tonight. I think honestly, I should probably keep one on myself to see what I jump up to when I'm broadcasting the thing. But yeah, just great job though tonight, JD, and say wow, so we're watching you celebrate on the replay. Yeah, just enjoy this one, man, and say definitely looking forward to seeing a lot more of you the remainder of the season.
Well, I appreciate it, guys, and look forward to being here. And hopefully the crew will come out and push me in, because we are flat out of gas.
Sounds like a good plan. Yeah, we'll find somebody to get you some help over here.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
You too, man.
All right, Matt, that is our race winner in that number 5 of JD Crow. And yeah, he used all of that fuel up doing the burnouts here as we're still watching on the replay. But he hung out, he waited in that car, and yeah, he's going to need some help either from teammates or crew to shove that thing back to victory lane tonight. But I mean, just what a race. I mean, 75 laps, there were 3 cautions, but again, the final run, Matt, I believe 23 laps caution free, and I mean, at least 20 of which were just 3x3, 5+ rows deep, and just massive moves being made to try to get the lead, get the win. Just what a race, what a finish.
Yeah, some of these other drivers who really didn't really finish well, but for those guys, don't get your head down. Y'all drove a pretty good race here tonight, and I know the finishes will come. That's what I keep believing myself in the Indy League. So they'll come there, my friends. Don't worry. Wins will come.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, you just got to keep putting yourself in position, and eventually the tides will turn, luck will go your way. But yeah, again, everybody that's watching us, I definitely love seeing everybody chatting on YouTube. It's always fun to get the insight, just get the fans and the family and all that. It's a lot of fun for us to kind of peek over and take a look at it. So yeah, just always fun to do. Say, Matt, as always, appreciate you having the time to spend with me over here doing this. And yeah,
always.
Week 2 next week, or tonight, or week 2 tomorrow starts, everybody, with the Next Gen series again back here on Green White Checker TV. Saying, I mean, I don't know if you got to heard the call for the final lap for that race at Auto Club, but if you didn't, go back, take a look at it, because our man Nick Chambrone, he was on it. He was excited on that finish at the end. So definitely take a look over there as well. Again, if you're interested, area51iracing.com. So those who watched, thank you so much for being a part of it. So we couldn't do it without all the support. So until next time, have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow at Next Gen Series.
Take it easy, guys.